story about to unfold here, 55 miles off the Louisiana coast, is one concerning a new method for producing oil from great ocean depths. It is a system that enables workmen to work on an oil well beneath the sea, using the same methods as those employed on land. They breathe normal air and work in shirt sleeves. It is the world's first underwater oil well completion of its type, and in the deepest water that a well has been completed to date. The capsule you see behind me, marked with our name, Lockheed Petroleum Services, is the service unit that transports men to oil and gas wells on the ocean floor. Capsule, this is Control. What is your status?
Capsule here. Manifold is rigged to Cellar. Ready to continue with installation of Christmas tree.
Okay, open your hull valves and commence ventilation.
Okay. All valves are open.
Good. Proceed with installation of wing valves. We have just been talking with our three operators, who are now 375 feet beneath us. They are hard at work within the stacked service capsule and wellhead cellar, assembling valves and controls, and hooking up a flow line to a live oil well. In a few hours, oil will be flowing to a nearby platform for transfer to the mainland. They've been submerged for almost 8 hours now, and will probably be down for another 2 or 3. Some time ago, off the west coast of Canada, in 900 feet of water, we successfully demonstrated the workability of this system. Capsule, this is Control. What is your status?
History in the making. A world's first. The deepest water to date. Dramatic terms perhaps, but nevertheless true. However, like many new and exciting projects, its history is one of hard-headed engineering and testing. Its baptism by immersion took place some time ago during an extensive test program off the west coast of Canada, in depths to 900 feet. 41 working dives established its workability and its relative insensitivity to water depths. Among the key elements tested were those considered most critical to a continuing commercial operation, such as the ability to consistently mate and seal 2 structures on the ocean floor, and the ability to make the flow line connection, so essential to oil production and transmission. Essentially, there are 3 major hardware sections to this system: the wellhead cellar, the diving or service capsule, and the topside support equipment. After the well has been drilled, the cellar is lowered and attached to the subsea well casing head. The drill rig then moves off-site. Wellhead cellars are designed to meet customers' particular requirements. After the support vessel has been moored above, a recall buoy is called up from the cellar, carrying a cable to the surface. picked up by the support vessel. The cable is attached to the downhaul winch of the capsule, and the capsule winches itself down to mate with the wellhead cellar. Water is pumped out of the capsule skirt, permitting access to the cellar. Pulling the flow line bundle down begins by ejecting a buoy with a pull-in cable attached. Retrieved topside, this cable is secured to the flow line bundle, and the capsule winch hauls the flow line down and into a port in the side of the cellar. Testing is one thing, but an actual commercial installation to demonstrate the system's practicality is another. Such a demonstration began in the Gulf of Mexico when the Shell Oil Company and Lockheed Petroleum Services contracted to install hardware on a producing subsea well in 375 feet of water. Now, as the prime contractor, our responsibilities and tasks would be many. First, the wellhead cellar must be designed and fabricated to meet customer specifications and to accommodate all necessary piping, valves, and controls. And full-scale assembly of all ancillary equipment, fit checks, and extensive testing on land would have to be conducted. Second, a support boat would have to be acquired and modified to accommodate its unique deck load. All service equipment would have to be readied, shipped, and mobilized on the boat, ready for sea trials. And third, as the primary contractor for this installation, we were to undertake a sizable and complex coordinating role among ourselves, our own subcontractors, and our customer. In addition, we would have to work closely with the other major contractor on the job before and during the laying and installation of subsea flow lines. Fabrication completed, the cellar arrived in Houston, Texas for full-scale assembly testing, which included interfacing of the cellar and wellhead equipment, pre-assembly and pressure testing of the Christmas tree and controls inside the cellar, dry installation of the bullnose and S-bend, and verification of passage of the pump-down tools through the flow line and Christmas tree. Special features of the cellar include zinc anode bars welded to the side of the chamber to inhibit corrosion and guide rails added for easier and more positive flow line orientation. First aboard the boat in New Orleans was the launch and recovery equipment, followed in quick succession by the wireline module, life support umbilical, and service capsule. After mobilization, sea trials were conducted to satisfy company specifications and those of certifying agencies. Following land tests, the wellhead cellar was transported to the drill rig at sea. The cellar was lifted on board and stored on the rig until all downhole operations were completed, at which time the blowout preventer stack was removed and stored. The cellar was then moved to the lower deck of the rig for installation of the hydraulic connector. The connector is a key item in this part of the operation, since it permanently locks the wellhead cellar to the oil well casing head. A special handling fixture termed a running tool provides for lowering of the cellar on the drill string. Lowering into the sea is conducted using a standard guideline system. Large Christmas tree components and heavy valves descend within the cellar for later assembly. Use of the chamber with its easy access from the capsule permits wells to be spaced to meet geological and reservoir requirements. Field development can proceed as data are obtained, and initial definition wells may be completed and saved for production or injection purposes. As the cellar descends, it follows 4 guidelines attached to the wellhead. Guide arm funnels slide over the wellhead guidepost template, and the well and chamber are locked together. After the connection is pressure tested from the rig and the running tool recovered, the drill rig departs. Meantime, final checkout and operations at sea of all support equipment and machinery aboard the coastal cruiser was completed. The boat, moored on site over the well, is ready to transport men and equipment to the Wellhead cellar. The launch and recovery equipment is designed to lift and launch the service capsule and its payloads in varied sea conditions, with recovery capabilities in Sea State 5. Hydraulic power systems and restraining lines ensure controlled restraint of the capsule during its short travel from vessel to sea. The system will handle 50 tons and accommodates all the unusual stresses encountered by a structure constantly in motion on a rolling sea. Working dives to the cellar commenced in early August, at which time the cellar was thoroughly checked. Ballast water was pumped out, and extension subs were mounted in the well. Master valves were installed, and pressure tests conducted. These valves, plus the downhole plugs, ensure total control of the well for complete safety of the operators. Pressure testing completed this first series of dives, and the capsule returned to the surface. Meanwhile, the reel barge and other support equipment had been assembled to perform the vital task of laying and installing flow lines. The flow line end which attaches to the cellar includes an S-bend with 5-foot radii to accommodate pump down tools. It also contains dual completion production lines, an Annulus access line, an auxiliary line, and an Electro-Hydraulic control cable for remote monitoring and operation of the wellhead valves. The flow line bundle was laid from the work barge above the cellar to a platform just over a mile away. As a safety measure, in the event of a flow line rupture during pull-in, plugs were installed in the bullnose end of the lines to prevent water flow into the wellhead cellar. The smooth, rounded bullnose cap provides for easy entry into the cellar port during pull-in. With the flow line now ready, the capsule descends to the cellar to begin pull-in. Equipment and personnel are capable of around-the-clock operation as required. Our objective now is to eject the cable-carrying buoy to the surface for pickup and attachment to the bullnose. This inflatable buoy is contained within a canister mounted on the inside of the cellar port. After the pull-in cable is attached to the buoy, it is ejected, inflated, and rises to the surface with the cable in tow. At all times and during this operation, the cellar remains dry. A hydraulic line packer is used to permit exit of the cable and prevent entrance of seawater. After retrieval on the surface, the haul-down cable is connected to the bullnose cap. The capsule operators below reel in the cable and pull the bullnose and attached flow lines down and into the port in the side of the wellhead cellar. Locked in the port, a permanent seal is now applied and the pull-in equipment disassembled. The wing valves and crossover loop having been installed and pressure tested, the safety plugs are removed from the flow lines. No special mix of air is required for the operators and workmen. The one-atmosphere environment is under continuous surveillance from the control room on the surface. Audio and visual alarms for oxygen and carbon dioxide levels, cabin pressure, and airflow immediately indicate the occurrence of any abnormal condition. Closed-circuit TV provides constant surveillance, and the men perform their work in the same way as on dry land. Cellar to deck, 30 minutes. Change crews, load equipment. Deck to cellar, 30 minutes. Design of this particular capsule permits operation to water depths of 1,200 feet. It normally accommodates 3 men, tools, and equipment. No special training or physical conditioning is required of any passenger, and payloads up to 4,000 pounds may be carried to the well. There is no limitation on bottom time, and decompression or other specialized diving equipment is not required. An advanced electro-hydraulic control system links the wellhead to the production facility. The unit maintains individual control and surveillance of all Christmas tree valves and well safety systems. To ensure satisfactory operation, subcontractor specialists descended in the capsule to conduct final performance checks. Our next step was to return to the surface and prepare for wireline operations on the well. Heavy seas provided the opportunity to verify performance of the launch and recovery equipment in varied sea states. Another feature of this service system is its ability to accommodate wireline operations in a dry environment. An addition to the capsule skirt provides increased height above the wellhead for assembly of the lubricator. Due to the specialized nature of wirelining, a trained technician was employed to review wireline equipment and procedures and train capsule operators in performing wireline work at the wellhead. The stuffing box, the wireline valve, the lubricator sections, the sheave assemblies, the wireline winch. A gas hood mounted on top of the lubricator assembly collects and funnels any gas leakage directly to the surface through the umbilical exhaust hoses. After tubing plugs were removed from the production tubing and Annulus access lines, and all hardware had been installed, one final task remained, and that was to verify operational readiness against a master checklist. Now, with final checks complete and the recall buoy reinstalled, the capsule returns to the surface for the last time. This installation, to use the space-age vernacular, has been the launching pad for Lockheed Petroleum Services. A young company born with a new concept has reached maturity. The idea of men comfortably working beneath the sea to accomplish subsea connections is a reality. Engineering and operational capabilities are now available to meet the challenges imposed upon the oil industry by deep water.